Alright kids, it's video time. Welcome back after a fantastic weekend. Spending over at my cousin's house. He's bought a new house on, well, I don't want to give you his address, he's very paranoid. But right on the water, pretty awesome. We got to hang out on the beach. A lot of Italian Jew jokes being thrown back and forth. But more importantly, I met a couple of people that I only see at these cousin parties. And one of them said, "Damn, you were right about that QQQ. Damn, you were right about the market never going down. Damn, I've only started watching this SVXY since last year. Man, that is pretty impressive. And you were right about that Twitter and that BlackBerry and that AMD and the oil and the MRO and the WMB and the VRX and the Potash and on and on and on." And I said, "Well, where's the money? All you guys with your fancy pinky rings and gold chains and fake nails and all this talk about how much money you're making, why don't you throw some to the Jew in the family?" I'm the only Jew out of, like, we had 115 people at this party. I thought the only good joke of the day was, "Do you want gefilte fish on your slice?" I thought that was funny because I didn't even know if they knew what gefilte fish was. But anyway, we're talking about stocks today, and we're talking about a market that, oh, by the way, just let me give another fuck off to all the guys.
What about the market never goes down now, sucker? How do you feel about that now, sucker?
I think the only thing anybody can make fun of me about is Alcoa, because that stock, I've been perpetually talking about it. Now, you do realize we did sell it 2 Octobers ago at 17, and then it plummeted all the way to 885. And if you search Glick loves Alcoa on Google, you'll find an article written about me on Yahoo Finance saying if I had to choose one stock right now, and that was, I think that was one of the January correction maybe, or it was doing some other correction. I was like, you want to be buying this stock at 8 for it to move back to 11 or 12 bucks. So even though I got it wrong, I got it right anyway, because, I thought it would be a $20 stock by now, but I wasn't stupid enough to hang on to this thing when it did an earnings reversal 2 years ago. And then we bought it at 13, we bought more at 10, and then we bought more at 8, and then we bought more on the way back up, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we thought it was going to bust out to 12.50, and I was wrong again, but our cost average was around $10.20, and we blew it out on the earnings report at $10.55, $10.60. So all said and done, we still made money on Alcoa, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the QQQ. The QQQ. I've been talking about this stock now for 20 years, and I begged you guys to get involved. I begged you. I pleaded with you. It's the #1 stock in my portfolio, has always been. But now we got the GoPro ripping, the Twitter ripping. We had the ENDP blast off, which is the only stock down today in our portfolio. We had the VRX buying the dip on that bullshit report that came out. Now the GoPro and all these wonderful trades that I'm in, usually most of these stocks are 100 shares, 200 shares, because what I've been doing is anytime something looks good, I buy 100 shares to remind myself that this stock looks good with the intentions, I have good intentions, to buy more. But I never bought more Twitter, and now the stock's up 5 points. And it's to the point where I thought you might want to sell it. And I thought maybe you want to take something off the table today at $20.50, and it goes up another 50 cents. So every time, what I've instructed the guys in my chat room to do is anytime I suggest selling something, they call me an asshole. Why would we sell now, asshole, if it's only going to go higher tomorrow? And then I realized, yeah, you've got a point. So we did one trade today, and the reason I became a trader, ladies and gentlemen, people out there in the world, the reason I became a trader was that at one point I had, $600,000 worth of stock, right? And I would just sit there and look to short the stocks that I own, because I know myself, and I know most people, if you own a stock, right, and you sell it, let's say for a profit or for a loss, the hardest thing to do is to get right back into that stock. Oh God, it's going up more, let me get back in. No, usually if you sell something, your first notion is I'm selling it at a good price, and if it pulls back, then I'll buy it. And in a bull market, you usually don't get that opportunity, so you have to start buying stocks higher. So now the only solution is to never sell anything and just keep buying any stock that you like. And right now I own way too many stocks. But again, it's not a huge amount of money that's at risk here, because I got 100 shares of GoPro, I got 100 shares of Twitter, I got 400 shares of ENDP, I got the FEYE options. I got 10 calls on the VRX. I got the QQQ. I don't own any SVXY right now. I own the stock called ACG. I still got some Alcoa. I got WMB. I got MRO. I got the ENDP. I got the VRX. Something I'm probably forgetting. ACG I just mentioned. ACIA, which is, once it busted over 10. AMD, Groupon. Let's not forget about those as the ENDP hits the lows of the day. So we can't have all winners every day, I guess. So, but the moral of the story is, when I was really, the reason I became a trader was I would sit there and I'd watch my portfolio, and if the stock that I owned was weak, instead of selling it out of the portfolio, because usually if you own a stock, you're not looking for it to do something in a day or two. You own the stock because you think you're going to make 20 or more % on it over, let's say, 18 months to 2 years to 4 years. Because if you make, 20, 30% in an investment over, generally 2 years making 20%, you're pretty good. Now we're making 20% every other day. So the idea is now I'm only looking for shorts for my day trades against the stocks that I own. But the only thing is, nothing's going down. So what was the only trade we did today? Alibaba short. Because it gapped up, rolled over, went red, put a short on, made a little bit of money to offset the stock that we own that was going down, took a little bit of profit, and that was it. Now, everything else, there hasn't been a moment where it even looked like a short, except for ENDP, and now I'm kind of pissed we didn't do this one because it's down $1. But, you can't win them all. You can't do all the trades. But right now, let me just tell you, for all you guys out there in the world that have been, just trying to poke fun, or you're watching doomsday porn and you're thinking that this market's going to crash every day. Here's the thing. We had an asshole in the room a couple of weeks ago telling us to buy UVXY. And every stock that I mentioned, he said it's going to go down. So I said, I'll bet you $5,000, $10,000, $100,000 that you'll be wrong on the UVXY for sure. You're going to be wrong about ENDP. And even the one that he got right, if you didn't get out at the most precise time on the rig short, you wound up losing on that too. But we had sold that one. It was only one stock that we had sold out of our portfolio. But I forgot the point that I was going to make. Oh, the point is, I gave a date and an exact time, and it looks like it's actually going to come true, which is absurd. Who gives when you have an analyst giving out calls, they don't tell you where it's going to go, what day it's going to get there, and what time. They tell you, yeah, we think it's going to go higher, our price target is X amount, and that's it. They throw it out there. I'm telling you the Dow is going to hit Dow 20,000 on January 20th, 2017 at 1:43 in the afternoon. Plus, the only thing about these Qs, my call was for 120 at the end of the year, and considering we're at 117.90 now, or 117.88, there was a phantom print on the market about a week and a half ago on the Qs at 118.78. I believe because the computers run this entire market that every once in a while they slip up and they say where the stock's going to go. So I'm thinking that we're going to get 118.78 on the Qs. Now, all things being considered, this is the week for the Black Swan. These next 14 days, there might be an event where the market actually has a sell-off. So I'm thinking, and I know this is probably going to be the dumbest thing I do, I'm thinking about dumping all my stocks, even the Qs, I know, crazy, but if we get to 118.78 by Friday, I've got no choice but to sell it because that'll be some sort of free gift. Now again, we got a little, and again, it's not all roses. I did buy some protection over the weekend. I bought the 116.50 put for this week for 44 cents, but I bought one contract, so I'm going to lose $44 on that probably. But still own the Qs, and we've owned the Qs forever. We've owned the Qs. They're pretty much up 100% almost since we've owned these bad boys, which is insane to have an index go up 100% while you're still in it. But I'm thinking about dumping everything, and not only do I want to dump everything because it's nice to take profits, especially on Twitter. I thought maybe Twitter gets taken over at $21 sometime this year. It's at 21 now, so what are you supposed to do? I guess logically you would sell it. If I had 500 shares, I'd sell 400 now. But I only have 100 shares, so what am I going to do? I'm probably going to sell it. But the best part about what I'm about to do is that if I do sell the Qs, and let me give you that list again if you don't know, I'm not going to sell the FEYE or the VRX because they're options, and either I'm making money on these FEYEs leftovers. But the ones that I have stock in, the GoPro, Twitter, stocks that I have options on, like FEYE September 20 calls. What's the point of selling them here for 7 cents? What? Imagine it gets taken over, and I'm not in these, and we bought them for what, 50, 60 cents, and they're down to 8 cents. But at least we didn't own the stock. We did sell the stock for a decent profit, and then we got little gambling addiction, and we bought some FEYE options into the earnings report, and it didn't work. But that really doesn't matter, because if you had the AMD or the Groupon or the whole list of stocks that have been doing well, you're still doing pretty well. But the point I'm trying to make is I'm thinking about selling everything, right? And then I'm so confident in what I'm talking about with this Dow going to 20,000. I think 20,000 is just going to be a fart in the wind. I think we're going to 26,000 now. I think we can go to 24,000, and then we're going to finally get one of those sell-offs where we go down 4,000 or 5,000 points. But it's only going to pull back to 20,000. So I think we're going to run. So when that sell-off does come, it's not even going to be significant. It'll be frightening while you're in it if you were the last guy into the market. But if you buy the Qs at 117, which is still absurd, and now they're at 117.90. We thought it was crazy that they were 117 last week. But when they get to 118.80 and they break that, next thing you know, they're going to be at 120. That was our target for the end of the year. So I'm going to assume that there's other people in my boat that are looking to take profits. So what we're thinking is that profit taking will then beget some more selling, which will then encourage maybe some shorters, which will then encourage some more people to sell out. It is August, there's less volume, so we might have, a little bit of a pullback. Now, what does that mean? I don't think we're going back below 112.85 on the Qs. So it's like about 5 points from here. We could get a decent sell-off, and that would be pretty frightening. 5 points on the NASDAQ. If it happened like within 2 days, people would be like, oh, is the bull market over? It's never over. It's never over. It's not going to end probably, I don't think, until, we got another, I think we have another legitimately till 2020. And that's when I run for president. So we got 4 more years of this. Throw in a black swan. We'll have a sell-off. They'll name it something. We'll get over it, and we'll be moving on. Right now, there's too much bullishness, but yet there's still people writing articles on ForMarketWatch.com and Seeking Alpha how this is all going to end badly. Now, another point I wanted to make, well, just 2 points I wanted to make about me dumping my entire portfolio. If I do dump everything, then after Labor Day, whatever I do next will be my only thing on. And you will be able to, if you haven't decided to follow me yet after 7 years, you want to start following me now, then you'll see. Because it'll be a clean slate. There won't be anything. I don't care where this has been or that's been. We're doing this now. This is what we think is going to happen next. Let's see how good I really can be. Because right now, we're just milking these trades. This is not, not really trading. Did one trade today, was the Alibaba, and that was it. I don't plan to do much trading until the market starts to pull back. I'm going back to what I did really well with in 1999. I bought every stock that I liked and wrote it, and then I started shorting it, and then eventually, when we really started getting hammered, I dumped my entire portfolio and started shorting the shit out of everything. And it took about a month and a half to the sell-off to evolve, and I was taking some pain, but it all worked out in the end. But right now, shorting this market is irresponsible at this point. You think buying stocks at these all-time highs is irresponsible? Shorting stocks right now is irresponsible. That's just, you're doing yourself a disservice. But again, the second point I want to make to you guys out on, wait a minute, the point was selling the portfolio, blah, blah, blah. There was one. All right, the other point I was trying to make. Let's say you're the guy that came into the room and said all your stocks that you own are going to suck. Your Twitter's going to 12. Your ENDP's going to 0. Your WMB's going out of business. And you've been wrong. All right? So you've lost the bet so far. But here's where analysts and assholes on YouTube and stock twits, they'll never be wrong. Because according to them, they have unlimited amounts of funds to keep shorting all these stocks and buying UVXY as it goes down. So I don't want to hear it, right? Let's say you're short. Let's say you shorted Twitter the day that I said to buy it. that was at around 1650. And you're down now pretty good. By the way, selling Twitter at 21 was actually not a bad spot. So let's say you got short the Twitter, right? And the stock's at $21 right now. If in theory, in your delusional world, maybe you are short Twitter, are you still going to be short Twitter after it goes to 17, 18, 19, 20, and now 21? There's no way in hell you possibly could be short these stocks. You can't be shorting GoPro right now. You can't still be shorting the Qs from the day that you were in the room. They were at 106.50. They're up 10 points. You can't possibly be long UVXY when it was at 17. Sorry, it was actually 15. Pre-split. The stock is down at like $2 right now. There's no way you're still long the stock without blowing up your entire house. But the people on the internet and on StockTwits and Twitter, so let's say the UVXY actually does go from 20 to 30 sometime over the next 6 weeks. You can't claim that you're right because there's no way you still own it. And if Twitter was to just suddenly roll over and go down to $10, there's no way that you're still short this stock. So I don't want to hear you guys claiming victory when the market actually does pull back, because there's no way, if you are the skilled trader that you all pretend to be out there in StockTwits and on YouTube and all you doomsday fuckers, you're not short. Because if you are, first of all, you can't withstand this pain. You can't. You must be losing money. And there's a point where, just like if you own the stock and it keeps going down, you're going to dump it eventually and say, oh my God, I got this wrong. At this point, you have to admit, it's been 6-7 weeks now, you had to be admitting you were wrong probably 10 days ago. So there's no way you're still short unless you have unlimited funds. And I don't think anybody out there that I come into contact, maybe, Dave Tepper, who's got unlimited funds. And you know what? Tepper ain't short in the market. But no matter what your net worth is, there's a point where you have to say, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be shorting this Twitter anymore. I got to cover. Because these stocks are 20, 30% above where they were weeks ago. So I don't want to hear you guys claiming victory if the market actually does pull back sometime this year and the UVXY goes up 20%. Because nobody should be still in this thing. You would have taken your loss already. That's why I don't want to hear all these chirping and all this bullshit. But the one thing I've been talking about is owning the Qs, buying the calls, buying the January 115s for $3. And people say, why would you go out that long? Why would you go out to January 115s and buy them for $3 when the Qs are at 108? I say, because if they go to 115 over the next month and a half, 2 months is what I think, these options will probably double and you'll have a chance to make a lot of money. Plus, even if none of that happened, I thought the QQQ would be at 120 on January 20th, 2017. So at least I was almost guaranteeing myself I'd make 2 points on this trade. Now, we're at the point where, do we act rationally and take profits? Or do we go completely irrational, not only not take profits, but buy more? Because that seems to be how to make money in this market, going full retard, as we call it. Just when you're thinking about taking profits, no, buy more. And the dumbest thing is that that's been working, like the Twitter. I didn't buy more Twitter, but I did sell some puts. Those are expiring worthless probably this week. I didn't buy more VRX stock, but I did buy some more options. I didn't buy more QQQ, but I did sell the one. I can't believe it, but I mean, they were giving me $1.50 for, I think they were the January hundreds, maybe. They're down to like 50 cents already. Not that I'm going to wait to collect that extra 50 cents that I sold some puts on the Qs. But this is the most incredible market I've ever seen. I've been doing this my whole life. This is better than 1999. Because 1999 was straight up. You had no pauses. It was straight up. And what goes straight up generally comes down hard. This has been a staircase. This has been we've had flash crashes. We've had momentary scares. We've had Brexits. We've had all this stuff. Remember Crimea? Was it Crimea? Ukraine? Remember that was going to change the world. Russia invading that other country. Anybody remember Cyprus? We woke up, the NASDAQ futures were down 50 on a country with the GDP of Rhode Island because Cyprus was going to go out of business. Then we had to worry about Greece and Portugal and Spain. Remember the euro? Remember the China slowdown? Remember Apple going out of business? Remember growth stories were over? Remember earnings? None of this matters because look where we are right now. And all that being said, if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, I feel bad. I feel bad. I feel bad for the guys that, and this is for Carla and Ed. Some guys come to the room and I'm busy making prank phone calls because there's nothing to do for the day. And then they leave. And then I get an email, where are those monster winners that you promised? And then the next day we have a 6 times your money on a BlackBerry. And then we have the ENDP blasting off. And then the VRX. This is not a one-day thing, people. If you're going to make this, if you're going to try to do this, and you want to be led by the master of all that is real, whatever the hell that means, you need to hang out for a month at least. Get a feel for what I do. Hear the freaking ranting and ravings of a guy that's been doing this 20 years. And also buy the Qs and buy SVXY and all the goddamn stocks I've been talking about. Because if there's anything I know about short squeezes. And this market is 80% still a short squeeze because there's still moronic people out there still thinking they could pick the top and shorten this market. People with not unlimited funds, but people who still think that they're going to catch some miracle top and the market's going to pull back and they're going to be the champion of the world on that, maybe a sell-off that lasts more than 4 hours. They're never going to be right. And when they're right, they probably won't be short anymore. But you got to be a part of what we're doing here. You got to be a part of it. You got to be a part of it. Because part of trading is not trading. Knowing when not to trade and knowing the market that we're in right now, this is not a market for trading. This is a market for buying stocks and watching them. And if they start to get weak, you short them for the 20 minutes that they're weak. I mean, ENDP is turning out to be a shit show today, but 90% of the other stocks are doing all right. Look at the BlackBerry, still above 820. Even FEYE is going up. I mean, come on, the stock's a piece of shit. And that's even green. Even WLL. You know, I took the loss on that last 100 shares. That stock bounced, when did I sell it? At like 750, right? I think it went to 7. Now it's back to 840. From 750 to 840, right there is a great investment. Nothing's going down. SQ had a move. I mean, Fitbit started going up. GoPro. I mean, what are you looking at that I'm not looking at? Or what are you people seeing out there that you think that this is just going to all spontaneously combust one day? Or one day soon? Because let me know what these signs are. Because I don't know, kids. I don't know what you're looking at. I'd like to know. But if you want to learn how to find some of these bottom fishers, like getting into the GoPro and the ENDP and the VRX and the Groupon and the BlackBerry and the AMD, it's all been the same chart pattern. They hit a spot, they can't go down, the sellers get exhausted, and then they have to start covering because they realize the stock's not going down anymore. And every once in a while, the short covering becomes a real rally like it did in Twitter. I didn't think Twitter was going to 21 by August 15th. I'm thinking Twitter 21 by next March, and it's here. I mean, this is insane. And again, the reason I believe this market's better than ever, this is the best market I've ever seen in the history of me doing this, is because I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we just consolidated for 2 years. It's not like the market's been going up. It just hasn't been going down. The Qs finally just broke out. It took 2 years to get back to, 115. We pulled back, and we've been just chopping around for 2 years now. So now that 2 years of consolidation has led to this monster breakout, which could last for years. We just started another bull market. That's what's crazy about this people thinking that we're done. We just started. We just broke out.
I don't feel comfortable buying stocks at all-time highs.
How are they going to go up? They have to hit all-time highs. In theory, you can't get the Dow to 20,000 without it breaking 18,670. It's just math, people. It's just math. So if you want to be vigilant, be in the stocks, and you're going to sit here at the end of August, and you're thinking that we might have a sell-off, Watch the stocks you own and possibly short them against, have a day trading account for your shorting, and you have your portfolio somewhere else, and you short the stocks that you're in to offset some of the loss that is happening for the day. That's it. Because if you sell, I mean, I am still debating. I'm going to probably sell that last 100 shares of Twitter because I got the naked puts on it anyway. But, I mean, chances are I'm going to go on buying Twitter back at $22.50. But if I do sell everything and I go to 100% cash, and I'm talking about the Glick fund too. I'm trying to convince my dad. It's been a nice run on these Qs, Dad. I mean, from 65, his cost average is around 65. The stock's at 118. I said 120. He bought into my theory about how guys like my father, see, the real theory about why I think that not only has the government controlled the stock market since '08, and by the way, I don't want to get political now, but I don't give a shit how you feel about Obama, and he's made us look like a weak nation with his Muslim sympathizing and obviously weak-handed approach to everything that is geopolitical. But that guy could get up on stage right now and say, market's at all-time highs, and drop the mic. Because if anyone's going to complain about anything, the market's at all-time highs. It's under his watch. You got to give the guy credibility. And we haven't had a major terrorist attack. I know we've had some lunatics with AKs and, AR-12s running around and shooting a bunch of people. These are mini attacks. There's nothing we could do about that. But we haven't had a major attack on the soil. Market's gone up every day. Drop the mic, Obama. Now, I don't know if I want Hillary to continue the fight. I think, and if you think it's all been a coincidence, it doesn't matter who's president. The market's going to keep going up anyway. But I don't know. You got to give Obama a little credibility. And again, at that party, I'm not an Obama fan as much as I used to be. Actually, I'm not really a fan too much anymore, especially after giving money to Iran and not dropping a couple of bombs on them for taking our guys off that ship, and the Navy ship back in the day. See how that story just went away? Anyway, you gotta give the guy some credibility. The market's been going up every day since he's been in office. It's not a coincidence. He signed the documents that put the algorithm in place. He gave the go-ahead to whoever created this algo to bring the market up to 20,000 and the Qs to 120. It's under his watch. So I don't care what you think. Dude did a pretty good job, right? The rich got richer. Why is anybody complaining? The government's feeding us money. All you had to do is sit tight. All right, but keep buying gold and silver and buying UVXY, because that's a fantastic idea, kids. All right, I'll see you guys in cyberspace. And if you want to find me, it's KennyGlick at AOL.com. God damn it. How do you not remember that? KennyGlick at AOL.com. KENNY. I'll put the freaking caption there if you're hard of understanding. KennyGlick at AOL.com. You email me your phone number. I'll call you up. We'll have a short conversation. If you're not a complete fucking retard, I'll let you hang out in the room. And then it's up to the people. It's like mob rules in the room now. If you offend the majority of people in the room, you get the boot. But if you're respectable and you're there to actually learn and not be a dick, then we let you stay. Simple. And why wouldn't you want to be a part of what I'm doing right now? Because I truly am the Jesus Christ of Wall Street. There is none higher. Sucker MCs, call me sire. So, it is what it is. Am I getting rich doing this? Absolutely not. Am I getting rich owning 100 shares of Twitter? No, but it feels good that I know that I got other people involved in Twitter. Am I getting rich on my 4 calls? How many calls do I have now? I have 4 calls in VRX. Am I getting rich? No. But I can pay my cable bill, and I told other people to get involved. Am I getting rich on the Qs? Well, my dad is, because dude's been long since cost average, I think, is 65. Not to mention the USO that he bought. I thought my dad was finally going to lose money on some trade that he did. But he held on. He bought more and it was going down. His cost average was back down at 10.20. They broke 10. And again, I suggested maybe you take the loss on this one. And he pretty much threw a brick at me. Nah, my dad's not a violent guy. I just like to say that for the story. But he wanted to throw a brick at me. He's like, why would I sell here for an $8,000 loss when all I have to do is wait 6 to 8 months and I'll be making 20 grand. And I was like, you know what? You're right. why do I ever even suggest selling anything to anybody? It's an incredible place that we're in right now, and day trading will pick up again. But right now, this is the buy and hold market. You want to buy, you want to milk these long positions for all you can. I mean, yeah, the other day I had 500 shares of GoPro. I'm like, do I really want to own 500 shares of GoPro? I guess I do, but I don't. I got 100 shares. So let me see, what did I add to the repertoire as of late? ACTG, A-C-T-G. You guys remember that? It was one of my first videos, ACTG. I don't know, I just looked at it in the chart. Thing was breaking out. It's a little piece of shit stock with no volume. And you know what? I buy anything that moves in this market. We are basically 15 cents away from a nice breakout on ACTG. I think the stock could get to about $7.81. And the way I look at it, I buy 300 shares of a $6 stock. And again, I'm in at 6. Am I suggesting you buy it here at $6.31? Sure, why not? Your stop loss on it is $5.66. So I was like, all right, I'll buy 300 shares at $6, using $5.66 as my stop. If I think the stock's probably going to, I think it's going to $7.85. So I'm risking, 60 cents to try to make $1.70. And that's it. And so far, so good. I bought it at 6. It's up 33 cents. It hasn't moved in 5 days. But anytime I see this chart pattern show up, you get the bottoming, you get a tiny sell-off, which doesn't break the lows, and then you get a second move up like the GoPro is doing over the last couple of days, like ENDP did last week and VRX is doing today. Even the rig and the US Steel and even the stupid Alcoa actually just put in that pattern. Just get in. Get in. Get in. And the reason I own 22 different stocks right now is that I don't own much. So if one doesn't go right, it's all right. All right, kids. Half an hour video. Hope you sat through the whole thing. And remember, it's Kenny Glick at AOL.com. And don't mock my ass for having an AOL account. I think it's fun. It's fun that I keep it real. I keep it old school. All right. Have a nice day. Have a nice life. And, 118.78 was the phantom print on the Qs. So I think we're going to get there. I said by this next Friday or this Friday. But I hate to tell you, it might be happening like tomorrow. Now, if we get the UVXY to have 2 up days in a row before I go, remember, that's the tell. UVXY has to go up 2 days in a row, and the UVX and the QQQ has to break now under a multi-day VWAP, which you're not going to know what I'm talking about unless you show up to the room. So it's Kenny Glick at AOL.com. Get in touch, people. Get in touch. Because my reign of terror, And if you're out there and you're waiting for me to have like a collapse, it might happen soon. Because I've been on a sick run lately. It's absurd. It's absurd. And if anybody wants documented proof, we have one guy in there. His name's Pete. Since this guy showed up in my room, and that's why I love when new people show up. It's like I feel like I got to prove myself again. Since this dude Pete's been in there, and I'll give you his home phone number, Pete will tell you the story. Pete knows what's up, and the big what's up knows what's up because his name is the big what's up. So he knows what's up. All right. Enough to toot my own horn because who the hell am I to talk about a couple of hundred shares of Twitter anyway, right? I'm just a scrub.